This episode of Co-op is brought to you by GoDaddy, GameFly, and Squarespace.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty excited to see Avatar.
No.
Why not?
No.
What's wrong
Dude,
with Avatar?
It's all right. James Cameron. That's all I gotta say, James Cameron.
What's wrong with James Cameron?
Titanic is what's wrong with James Cameron. That's a good point.
What about Terminator? Terminator was awesome.
Yeah, fine.
He did Aliens.
Okay.
That's right.
Aliens is good.
Aliens was True Lies.
Dude, it doesn't matter. This whole 3D thing is just a gimmick anyway.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
Dude, who
really cares?
3D
it's
is
not
the
gonna make
future, man. It is the future. Come on.
No, like, you're not gonna have that TV. Nobody's gonna play this game
In
like
the
that.
future, I
I'm not
will.
gonna have that TV.
In the future, we will all have
In the
3D
future,
TVs.
we're all gonna have
Yes.
3D. Yeah,
it's gonna
how
be
far
all
in the
coming
future?
at you. Not that far, man.
Way far
Come
away
on.
that you're not gonna play Avatar in 3D. It just
Whatever,
it totally
dude.
doesn't matter.
Well, we're gonna go see it, so
Yeah.
let's head into the Adobe Theater, and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's gonna be awesome.
I know you're a huge James Cameron fan.
Oh, you know what? James Cameron was awesome in Growing Pains, man. That was hilarious shit.
The thing I like about you most is you'd run away with me. So pack your bags and your shotgun too. We might run into zombies. We're always down for that co-op multiplayer action. We're always down. We're so down. We're so down. We're so down for co-op. We're so down for that co-op action.
GoDaddy.com makes it easy to customize your own virtual dedicated server. Choose one of 3 popular plans or select your own Linux or Windows server with all the plan options you need. Plus, enter code CO4 when you check out and save an additional 15% on any order of $75 or more. Some restrictions apply. See site for details. Get your piece of the internet at GoDaddy.com.
Yeah? Good? All right.
You really don't have to show me anything. I've vlogged every inch of this town.
You know what? I don't think you ever seen Liberty City like this.
What's he doing, Tony? Help!
Pick up, you motherfucker! Be careful up here, bitch! Bye-bye, birdie!
Get after him, Al!
It took a long while for me to think that Gay Tony was anywhere near as good as Lost in the Damned, because I felt like it just kind of took a while to get going, and I really loved Lost in the Damned right away. But by the time it started to turn into this like sort of stuntman movie, I mean, it just was doing things that you would never see. Even though Grand Theft Auto 4 has had tons of crazy fucking action movie moments, like this one still felt crazier when it got to its peak. There's some genius game design in there as well. Like, you're following 2 vehicles and they both kind of make a sharp right in front of you, and at first I was like, oh shit, and I missed it, but in fact I landed on a barge and was able to like race off on the barge, and there was a jump at the end and I busted through a fence and like came back on and was back behind the guys. Like, there's just like a lot of moments like that. In fact, that's a Maury mission, who's Brucey's brother from GTA 4.
Right.
And then there's Yusuf, and these 2 characters, Maury and Yusuf, who give you missions, I mean, even more so than the main story arc missions, seem to just be there to like put you in these ridiculous scenarios where there's helicopters, tanks, parachuting, and then there's the base jumping missions, which are just
so
like
good.
insanely fun to do.
the MMA fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that you can do. I mean, I don't know. It's okay. Like I went in and fought a few rounds and lasted to the third guy.
Yeah.
I just like, once you get guns in the main missions, you kind of can't even use the hand-to-hand combat anymore. You could like decide like, oh, there's a guy over there with a gun, and I'm pretty close. Maybe I'll run up and punch him. But they'll always just like backstep and shoot you, backstep and shoot you.
They have really powerful guns too.
Exactly, and that's why I kind of enjoyed this mode, because it gave me a chance to use the hand-to-hand combat, which I kind of enjoy. But when you're fighting against normal guys, the weapons are fun, and they did add some new weapons to this game that are way better, if almost way too powerful. But I kind of enjoy that, just because we've fought so many dudes in this game. To feel like kind of a god with your explosive shell shotgun is just like really fun.
Yeah, and they start you off with like the really badass submachine gun right off the beginning, and you're like, oh man, how can it get much better than this? But then you do all the missions with Yusuf, and they give you the gold Uzi, man, and that thing just takes dudes out so fast, like even better than the new shotgun that they have in there.
You guys did that mission, that Yusuf mission, right, where you have to drive away in the APC, but first you like fly in tandem next to the other helicopter, and you have to take that insane sniper rifle and like shoot bolts from the transport.
So it drops the.
So it drops. Was it just me, or when it gets to the last bolt, does the thing just start spinning like crazy, and you're like
the physics take over, and like that's one of the greatest things about this game is the physics and how much it makes you feel like you are in this world. Like
even the boat missions, the water in this game has always felt really realistic. Like it waves properly, and you're in the Bay of Liberty City, so it's like being in the middle of New York Harbor, and it's like just gorgeous. But it always felt a little bit slow and choppy. Like in the races that you have to go through for the main missions in this game, they'll have you kind of racing a boat through like these wrecks of old sunken ships, and like that I didn't even notice were there when I was like playing the game the first time. In Lost in the Dam, they did such a great job of like showing you a different part of the city that you had kind of disregarded when you were playing GTA 4. And they don't do that as well with kind of the main mission areas in this game. But the areas that you race, the missions themselves are put into very good locations, I think, where they're showing you, maybe parts of the city that you've seen before, but not when you're going this fast, and not with a helicopter flying over you, or not from like a bird's eye view, like a million feet in the air, and it's just like really, really fun.
It just seems more like Neon to me for some reason, like more Vice City almost.
Right.
In general, it's partially that every car you jump into, or for the most part in the missions, have like club music. You're like striving to, and then your guy walks like a badass when he goes to the club.
First time you go into that club and you go up to the counter and take your free shot, and then you're like, fuck it, I'm gonna take another shot because it's free. And that makes, your camera get a little wobbly, but you still got that strut, and then you go dance, and like, it turns into a line dance, like, which is nuts, and it's awesome. One time I danced too long, and all of a sudden I was actually at Hercules, the gay club, and this dude in the back like challenged me to a dance off, and I was like, holy crap, I didn't even know this was possible.
I never got that before. That's crazy.
And it was just like really bizarre and strange, but a fun way to spend a little time. And then, every once in a while I'll go and do like the champagne drink off, which just leaves you plastered. And at that point, like, you're falling downstairs and knocking other people downstairs.
You literally can't even walk downstairs. It's just like, okay, I'm gonna tumble down and just like pick myself up when I reach the bottom.
It's a blast. It's really a blast.
Like, I actually liked managing the club, like when you go in there and you do the job, it's actually fun to like go into first person mode, kind of survey the environment, spot a dude who's like too drunk, eject him, and then move on to the next room. It kind of makes you feel like a badass, You started out at the bottom in GTA 4, but in this one you're really like, you're the man,
What I liked a lot about Gay Tony was that, like, all the characters you meet and all the sort of situations that you're in, they're not these like serious, crazy dramatic situations. They're just, it's just crazy over the top sort of circumstances.
It almost feels like a response to Saints Row 2 in some way, where, you know, because when Grand Theft Auto came out, a lot of people were saying it's too serious, which was actually what I liked about it. It felt more adult than GTA San Andreas, which I enjoyed too. But the game knows what it is, and this version of the game is not the same serious one that you played when you played Lost in the Damned. It's like, fuck, I mean, in every other mission, you're in a helicopter or skydiving out of some crazy, you know, off of some crazy building and like, grabbing some guy and taking him down to the ground with you. You know, there's just like so many random ass, like completely demented action moments in this game that, you know, it does kind of stand out. And even though I wasn't super turned on at the beginning because the narrative to me isn't as good in this game, it's still fucking awesome.
What's wrong, Billy? No money for new games? Well, try GameFly. GameFly is the largest online video game rental service and offers you a choice from over 6,000 new and classic titles across all consoles and handhelds. With plans starting at $15.95 a month, GameFly members can rent 1 to 4 games at a time and keep them for as long as they like. There are no late fees, no due dates, and shipping is always free. Once you're done playing a game, send it back and GameFly will send you the next available game on your list. If you really like the game you're playing, simply click Keep It on the GameFly website and the game is yours, at a discounted price. GameFly will even mail you the case and manuals free of charge. Co-op fans will get a 2-week free trial when they go to gamefly.com/co-op. Some restrictions apply, see site for details.
I feel like if I had been playing Diablo 2 2 weeks ago and stopped and went into this, it wouldn't feel different. It would feel improved.
Yeah.
Like picking up gold by running over it is awesome.
Your pet can do it too.
Yeah, that your pet can do that, and that you've got sets that grant you bonuses that they give out, and adding the ability to enchant items that are already magical.
Yeah.
To strip jewels out of gear. Basically, all the things that people would complain about are the things that would be slightly bulky about the interface in Diablo 2 has been fixed in Torchlight, which makes sense because it's the people that made Diablo and Diablo 2. Right down to the fucking town music, which sounds exactly like Diablo 1.
Fortune is kind to you. All right.
Did you choose kitty or doggy?
A cat.
A cat.
Very much.
Yeah.
And you?
Oh, I chose the cat.
Because cats are better than dogs.
Cats are definitely better than dogs. That's totally flame bait.
Exactly, that's why wouldn't I say that?
Yeah, exactly. It's a really cool idea to give you a pack mule, and a pack mule that can go back and sell your shit for you. You just load up your pet's inventory, and you press the little go back to town button, and they sell everything that's in their inventory unless it's a quest item.
A pack mule that can shoot ice or fire. Yeah.
Well, if you feed them fish.
No, you don't. You can teach them spells. Like you give them scrolls and they'll cast spells. Like they have a mana bar for that purpose.
I never knew that. Oh, I thought they were seriously just there to physically attack things.
Yeah, I think that the reason they do that is because they want you to make them powerful and then miss them when they're gone.
Right.
Because it's like, you can send them back to town and they'll sell all your stuff, but you won't have them until they come back.
I chose the Alchemist, and then I've been going down basically the pet skill tree. Like all of my things are summoning pets, buffing pets, and one of the talents decreases. It increases their armor and their attack for all of your pets and all of your summons. But it also decreases the time that it takes for your pet to go back to town and sell it.
So I'm playing as a Vanquisher, and she actually has a skill in her tree to do that as well. And
cool.
that's one of the things that's kind of nice about the skill trees is that there's only 3 character classes, but each one has 3 different sort of subsections that allow them to go in such radically different directions. I mean, it's not like it was before in, say, Diablo 2, you had a Bozon or a Spearzon or whatever. Like, you had, like, 2 viable paths for a Necromancer or a Druid. There are so many different ways to mix and match your skills.
Well, and they also don't really... we call it a skill tree, but it's not really a tree, because there aren't... The only prerequisites for the skills are that you be the right level. You can go all the way to level 25 and just pick a level 25 skill in another tree that you haven't picked any skills in. The Diablo games were always so much fun because they went because you could go through them so quickly, you know. But Torchlight feels even more streamlined. It's you know, like I found myself going through the early part of the game really fast, and I'm just now getting to a point near the end of the game where I have to play more tactically, and that's actually where I'm starting to run into some problems too, because being a pet master, you don't have direct control over any of your pets. Yeah. They kind of just run around and attack on their own, and their pathing can be really bad. All the time I'm getting pets stuck on different levels and I can't get them caught, and I basically just have to run away really far so that eventually the computer makes them go through walls, or maybe the level despawns and that's when they catch up to you or something like that.
And I mean, it's not just your minions that do that. You'll frequently see enemies that are sort of caught in corners that they can't escape from.
I'll create a bunch of skeletons. I'll have these little imps. I can create 2 different kinds of golems now. Once I have all those out there and they're fighting all the enemies, a lot of times I can't tell what's going on. Like, I just know that shit's going down. And I use haste all the time, too. So if I misclick, now I'm in the middle of the battle, and look, oh, I'm almost dead. Drink potion, run away. And it's because, like, I can't quite tell what's going on.
And that's
I wish that I could...
a problem from before that they didn't fix, is that in a lot of cases you'll be clicking over something over and over again trying to select it, and you just won't. I mean, obviously the elephant in the room as far as the game is that there's no multiplayer.
Yep. And it's really tragic, especially in a game that has loot, and especially that has such a cool art style.
Like, to mitigate the absence of being able to trade between different players, you have a shared stash. So I mean, if you find items, they fully expect that you will deposit that stuff and play through it again with someone else.
Yep.
And since, unlike a lot of other Diablo clones, it actually does randomize the levels the way that the Diablo games always did, there's totally valid reasons to go back through the game.
And I liked the variety in the stages as well.
Which is surprising, actually, because when you first understand the scope of the game, you're like, okay, so this is like a 30-level dungeon crawl, and it's all going underground, and that was one of the issues.
I'm just going into caves. How many different caves can there be?
I'm just going to see the same shit over and over again, except it's going to be a different color. Like, I mean, that was a Diablo 1 issue, but it's something that I was surprised by the time I got to the Dwarf Caverns, because they looked so different than everything else that I've seen.
And by then you'd gone through jungle caverns?
Yes.
Where it was raining somehow, but that's okay. I've played this game for hours and hours and hours. It's definitely got that entire Diablo addictive nature down pat, and like you said, it's streamlined and it's better, but it's also very adept at being a quick hit. Like, jump in, do 1 level of a dungeon, maybe jump back out again to town, or maybe just quit right there, and it's still a really satisfying experience.
And it saves where you leave off, so it's not like you start back in town and then have to trek back out where you were. It just stops in the dungeon. Just as a testament to how it seems like I'm only going to play for a few minutes, but last night I had Dragon Age set to install on my 360, and I said, I'll just play like a level or 2 of Torchlight, and then 2 hours later I turn around and this game has been installed and I'm still playing Torchlight.
Yeah.
Assuming that you can get over the single player thing, and I mean, if you can't, then it's just not going to be your game.
Right.
Assuming you can get over that, $20 is a fucking great deal for the amount of gameplay that you're getting out of Torchlight.
It's in the dark though. It's like it hurts my eyes a little bit. It's a bit too bright.
It's a little straining a little.
Oh, too dark, dude. Split the difference.
A little bit in the middle.
Halfway.
Right?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's great.
What's going on?
Okay.
Nice.
You guys changing the colors?
Yeah, Squarespace. Remember, you can change the colors in real time.
Try green. I like green.
Okay, we'll do
Green's
green.
my favorite color.
That's super cool.
Do blue.
Oh,
that's
all right.
You guys changing the color. That's awesome.
Blue's not bad.
Do you like?
I think orange would be really good.
Orange? Yeah.
Really?
The orange bar logo.
Like how about like an olive
That's a
or a
little
mauve
bright,
or
yeah.
something?
Yeah, they move up to like a yellow.
Hold it. Go back.
Sienna.
Go back.
Dude,
Go
this
back.
is like
No, go forward.
Go back to
Nice.
green.
Right there.
Yeah,
Go
go
back
back
we
to
can make it
green.
do this.
Oh,
Like a brighter.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at the
like
lights.
that.
Look at the color.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I can see that. Definitely.
Oh, that's good. Squarespace. Squarespace to change your site in real time. Verified TV looks kinda shitty to me until we put it on the Squarespace. Real time changing of your website. Squarespace does it in real time. If you want your website to look like a disco, hit this shit up, baby. You will see it in real time. Squarespace.
Beautiful.
Oh, that's awesome.
All right, that was good talk, guys. Not too bad.
I kind of like that color.
Oh, right there. Perfect.
Looks pretty good.
I like it.
All right. Let's do it.
That was really great trailer. It was more than I was expecting.
You know what the worst thing is now? I have to get a 3D TV.
You know what's even worse? I have to say Jason was right.
It was the first time for everything.
Hey, now, come on. Hey, you know, but pretty cool, right?
It was pretty cool. I was super surprised at how awesome the 3D was. I really want a 3D TV now. I can't afford one, I'm not gonna get one, but it makes me really, really want one. While I was watching the 3D, because it was the polarized lenses glasses, I'd close one eye, look at it in 2D and then open it and be blown away every single time I would readjust my vision. And it was really cool how like when you're looking in 2D, I would see a flat kind of boring texture.
Yeah.
And then I would look at it in 3D and it looks so much better.
Yeah,
and it
pops, yeah.
Yeah, I thought that would be the opposite. I thought you would have to have even more compelling, you know, bump mapping and normal mapping and stuff like that in 3D than in 2D, but it really felt the opposite.
Yeah, it was almost disorienting for me at first, and not really in a bad way where it was confusing, but in the way where when I played like Mario 64 for the first time, sort of having that extra level of control and view just sort of like gave you something to get used to. But it was, yeah, it's just stunning. Especially it works well in the environments. It uses the Far Cry engine, so a lot of it's a very open world game, and so there's a lot of like very expansive, large draw distances, and that just lends itself really well.
One thing I'm really glad about with this game, they're not just following the story of the movie, you know. It's kind of taking on its own.
I thought it was really cool because I did play both the humans and the Navi, and I did the transition between the two in the single player levels we played. And the humans, you really do feel really tiny.
Yes.
And then you play the Navi, and suddenly it's like, oh wow, this is a Navi-sized world because they're 10 feet tall. You know, the humans come up to their waistlines, and it's like you're running around killing humans, and they look like little ants.
Another thing too is just how different both the classes play. I mean, you have a choice basically which side you sort of want to choose. On the human side, it played a lot like Lost Planet, sort of the view, the quick turn that you have, and all of the weapons, and that felt a lot just as like your standard third-person shooter. But the Navi all have, you know, bows and arrows and melee weapons, and so it's very, very different playing the two, which I think is going to help the replay value a lot. Another thing about the game I didn't realize, and that I think is really cool, is it has some RPG elements to it as well.
Yeah.
You gain experience points and you gain skills that are mapped to the face buttons that you can interchange and sort of switch. Like for the Navi characters, they had healing, they had stealth, they had moves that made you run very quickly. And on the human side, they had like calling in airstrikes and sort of these more offensive attacks. And so I like having that sort of creative freedom.
Being able to customize, you know, the 4 weapons you want, the 4 skill types you want, your armor.
Where I can sort of map my character the way that I want to play it. I think.
What I did play, the combat scene, the combat in the world, the missions, they all seemed really straightforward. It didn't seem very much open worldish, but this was the very beginning of the game, so it was a lot of tutorial stuff. I think the bottom line is, before I wasn't excited about this game, and now I kind of am.
Yeah, it's on my radar now for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
I told you guys.
Yes. Yes, you did. Who knew that he could grow up from growing pains and do such amazing stuff?
Yeah, that James Cameron.
I told you. Let's go.
All right, let's do it.
Shotgun.
Next time, maybe you guys will listen to me.
Yeah,
I wouldn't go too far. Don't get crazy.